Um, Dear students, in the previous video I already discussed light reactions. The half portion of that SLO is continued in this lecture. So the same SLO is there. Explain the processes, light and dark reactions involved in photosynthesis. So we are done with light reactions in the previous video, and here we are going to discuss dark reactions. So this is a summary of photosynthesis. Photosynthetic equation is here. So these are the raw materials of photosynthesis, that carbon dioxide combines with water molecule to form glucose, and water and oxygen are produced as byproducts. So you all know that this is a balanced chemical equation, that six carbon dioxide molecules combine with 12 water molecules to form one glucose molecule, and water and oxygen molecules are released as byproducts. And sunlight is necessary for the process of photosynthesis, and chlorophyll molecules are equally important. So in this equation you already have an idea about reduction and oxidation. It is shown here that the raw material or the reactants of light reactions, that is carbon dioxide in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water in the process of photosynthesis. Water is already utilized in the light reactions. We discussed it that water molecules, they are utilized in the process of photosynthesis to provide electrons and release oxygen. So the oxygen, which is the byproduct of photosynthesis, or this is released during the process of photosynthesis, is due to this water molecule. Here you can see that the equation, there are to complete or to produce one glucose molecule, 12 water molecules are needed. So when 12 molecules are needed, only 6, coming back to the slide. So when 12 water molecules are utilized, 6 oxygen molecules are released. So this was the concept in the previous lesson, that we discussed that when one water molecule breaks down, because to understand the mechanism we started with only one water molecule. So when one water molecule was separated, it produced only half oxygen molecule, not even one full oxygen molecule. So one full oxygen molecule is released in the process of photosynthesis when 2 water molecules are broken down. So when 12 molecules are broken down, 6 oxygen molecules are released in the light reaction during the process of photolysis. Today we are concerned with dark reactions. In dark reactions, carbon dioxide is fixed from the atmosphere, carbon fixation, and glucose molecule is synthesized. And the reactants, the products of light reaction, that is energy rich molecules which were synthesized in the light reactions, they are utilized in the dark reactions, that is ATP and NADPH, which were produced in the light reactions, they are utilized in the dark reactions. That's why net production of energy in the process of photosynthesis is 0, because the energy molecule ATP and NADPH, which were synthesized in the light reactions, they are utilized in the dark reactions. So we don't mention ATP and NADPH in the reactants. So here you can see these 12 water molecules, they provide the electrons for the glucose molecule, and the carbon dioxide, it provides its oxygen molecule to the glucose molecule and carbon dioxide molecule, and the water molecule, it actually provides the hydrogen to the glucose molecule and the byproduct water molecule, and it produces the oxygen as byproduct. This oxygen actually comes from this splitting of water molecules. So these are the steps of dark reactions. The dark reaction, they were actually discovered by Melvin Kelvin and his colleagues at the University of California. That's why they are also known as Calvin cycle. It has following steps. First step is carbon fixation or carboxylation. Second is reduction, and third is regeneration of carbon dioxide acceptor. Let's try to understand it with the help of the cycle. So the dark reactions, they actually occur or they take place in cyclic form. That's why they are known as Calvin cycle. So we will the dark reactions have been divided into three major steps: carbon fixation, reduction, and regeneration. So what happens in the first step? Carbon fixation. Carbon from the atmosphere, of course, the atmospheric carbon dioxide, it combines with a compound which is known as ribulose bisphosphate. It is a 5 carbon containing compound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon containing compound combines with 1 carbon. Carbon dioxide is 1 carbon containing compound. So when this 5 carbon containing compound combines with carbon dioxide, initially it forms a 6 carbon containing compound which is highly unstable. And this process happens in the presence of an enzyme, that is Rubisco. Rubisco is the enzyme. It helps in combining ribulose bisphosphate to carbon dioxide molecule, and it forms a temporary 6 carbon containing compound which splits into 2 parts, forming a compound which is known as, in this slide you can see this compound is actually 3-phosphoglycerate. So this is a complex diagram. You don't have to go into that detail. In your level, this diagram is enough because it is not discussing that details. You don't have to mention all the names, or you don't have to remember all the names. So here the first step is carbon fixation. What happens in carbon fixation? Carbon dioxide combines with a carbon dioxide acceptor which is known as ribulose bisphosphate, a 5 carbon containing compound, and form a initially 6 carbon containing compound which is highly unstable. So it splits in the next step into 2 compounds which are 3 carbon containing compound. So here you have to see that they have mentioned number in front of the molecules. So what does this number represents? For our convenience, for our understanding, we discuss this through this numbering, because here, coming back to this slide, here like 6 carbon dioxide molecules are needed. So we will start with 3 carbon dioxide molecules, and to make a complete glucose, this Calvin cycle has to undergo 6 times. Like for every carbon dioxide it will undergo the cycle, and finally it will produce 1 glucose molecule, but we will start with 3 carbon dioxide molecules. So 3 carbon dioxide molecules combine with 3 5 carbon containing compound to form 6 carbon containing compound which split into 6 3 carbon containing compound. There were total 6 carbon containing compounds. So when one breaks, it forms 2 3 carbon containing compounds. So all of the 3 compounds split, each will produce 2, and 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So 6 3 carbon containing compound phosphoglyceraldehyde is formed, and the next step is reduction. ATP and NADPH, which were produced in light reactions, they are utilized in dark reactions. So this there are series of steps, we are missing them. If you want to learn here how it works, like this was the 3 carbon containing compound having 1 phosphate group, so it was named as 3-phosphoglycerate. When it gains, as there are 6 3 carbon containing compound, each of them needs 1 ATP molecule or phosphate group from the ATP. So when each of them gains 1 phosphate group, here there was 1 phosphate group, here you can see there are 2 phosphate group. So this 3 carbon containing compound having 1 phosphate group, after utilizing ATP, it becomes 1,3-bis phosphoglycerate. So now this 1,3-bis phosphoglycerate, it utilize NADPH molecule. So there are they need 6 NADPH molecules. Means this is reduction phase. Reduction means they gain hydrogen from NADPH and form NADP, and they release, each of them they release phosphate groups. So together they release 6 phosphate groups. Now after this reduction, they form this 3 carbon containing compound is converted into a special compound which is known as glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So how many glyceraldehyde 3-phosphates are formed? 6 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphates are formed. Out of the 6 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate or 6 G3P molecules, one leaves the cycle, as the G3P is a 3 carbon containing compound. This leaves the cycle and it forms the glucose. The glucose is not formed directly in the dark reactions, rather in the dark reaction G3P is produced, which is a 3 carbon containing carbohydrate. When it combines with another, it needs another G3P molecule to form a 6 carbon containing glucose molecule. So there will be another Kelvin cycle with another 3 carbon dioxide molecules. They will be producing G3P. So 2 G3P molecules are enough to synthesize glucose molecule. So in this cycle only 1 G3P molecule is formed. That's why here you can see, that's why we have mentioned that here 6 G3P molecules were formed, one leaves the cycle, and the remaining 5 molecules, they form 5 G3P molecules. They undergo series of reactions using ATP molecule 3, because the 5 carbon containing 3 carbon containing compound, they undergo series of reactions to form the original carbon dioxide acceptor. Here you can see they undergo reactions and they form this original carbon dioxide acceptor. That's why this process is known as regeneration. So here this was about the dark reactions or the Kelvin cycle. I'm repeating it, a brief revision. It has 3 steps: carbon fixation, reduction, regeneration of carbon dioxide acceptor. In carbon fixation, a 5 carbon containing compound, which is the carbon dioxide acceptor, this is the compound which has the ability to combine with carbon dioxide in presence of an enzyme, that is Rubisco, and they combine to form a temporary 6 carbon containing compound. This 6 carbon containing compound splits into 2 3 carbon containing compounds, and these compounds, they undergo reactions. They utilize ATP and they utilize NADPH and they form G3P, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This G3P is going to form glucose in the process known as glucogenesis in the liver, and the remaining G3P molecules, they are going to regenerate the initial carbon dioxide acceptor. So this was all about Kelvin cycle or dark reactions. These are the steps. Explain that first step, carbon fixation. I have explained that carbon dioxide molecule combined with 5 carbon containing compound to form 2 temporary 6 carbon containing compounds, each of which split into 2 3 carbon containing compounds. Then reduction, the 3 carbon compounds are reduced to 3 carbon carbohydrates using ATP and hydrogen from NADPH. Then the 3 carbon carbohydrates are used to manufacture glucose. Then in the regeneration, the 3 carbon carbohydrate, that is G3P, they are used to regenerate the original 5 carbon compound, and this step also utilize ATP, and the cycle repeats itself again and again in order to produce maximum glucose molecules. So here is the summary of dark reactions. We have done this for the light reactions in the previous lesson. Here we will be discussing Calvin cycle, inputs of Calvin cycle or dark reactions, and output. What were the input? They occur in the stroma, you better know that. The input of dark reaction is ATP and NADPH, energy rich molecule, which were synthesized in the light reaction. They are utilized in the dark reaction. And carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, it is also utilized in the dark reactions. And the output is, the major output is in the dark reaction, that is the glucose, and ADP and NADPH, they will be again utilized in the light reactions. So the major output of dark reaction is glucose, which is the major purpose of photosynthesis. So here was the summary that how plants make their food using the process of photosynthesis. Hope it was clear to you. Thank you.